Eagles keyword of the day, and you're entered to win a Eagles road trip this year on the day of the draft. You get to draft which Eagles road game you want to go to, plus one lucky winner will walk away with club box tickets for an Eagles home game this year. We'll have another chance for you to qualify coming up in an hour from now. Don't forget, tomorrow's keyword comes at 6:25, 7:25, 8:25, and 9:25. Flyers in action tonight. You can listen to Game 4 on 97.3 ESPN. The Capitals have never had a 3-0 series lead. The Flyers are one of only 4 teams to ever overcome a 3-0 series lead. Brian Startare from FlyerDelphia.com, part of SportsTalkPhilly.com. He joins me now with a look at tonight's game and whether or not you should even care. B-Star, how are you?
Good afternoon, Michael. Anything big happened today? I just missed it.
I think it's amazing how sometimes things like this just fall into your lap. By the way, I'm not a big fan of the deal, just to throw that out there for you. The listeners are well aware of that. And I'm not a big fan of what the fans did the other night, and I'm not a big fan of the way this series has gone. I think we knew, Bri, at the beginning of the series that this was a tall task. Has it been worse? Has it been worse than you thought? Has it been worse than we thought it would have been?
Well, I had really good vibes coming out of Game 1. I thought the Flyers played very, very well in Game 1 and only lost 2-0. They had a variety of different chances. I think you can look at the special teams. The Caps are insane at 8 for 17 on the power play. Flyers 0 for 13. But you're right, though. This team did not get the 56 wins by accident. They did not get the 120 points by accident. They have a top 5 power play. They have a top 3 penalty killing. They have a Vesna-like goaltender in Braden Holtby. They're big, they're balanced, they have experience. They picked up guys that have won cups before to play those different roles. This is a team that blew a 3-1 lead last year to the Rangers. In previous years, they've lost some other series that they were ahead. This is a team that's been building and building and building. This is their time. Conversely, Flyers are on their way up, but they're just not on the same plane as the Capitals.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Let me get your thoughts then. Tonight, they're going to go with Michael Neuvirth in goal. This is really just a last-ditch effort here. Did you have a problem with Mason going in Game 3? The only question would be, he's played virtually every game since the beginning of, mid-March. That would be the only – but Holtby plays every game. You go with your guy. So I don't have a problem with Neuvirth here, and I don't have a problem with him not playing in Game 3. I think this is just basically the way it should have been mapped out with the situation that they're in.
I think Steve Mason deserved to play Game 3. I know he let up that horrible goal in Game number 2, but remember, Mike, they've scored 2 goals in 3 games. And I understand you talk about momentum and series changers, and that was a backbreaker, but Mason played his tail off to get this team into the postseason. They didn't give him much help in Game 1 nor in Game 2, even though he gave up, again, that worst goal in Game number 2. Game number 3, he was bad. I understand Dave Haxtell, now the Flyers head coach, talking about lineup changes. Not only is Neuvirth going to play in goal tonight, but he's going to put Braden Shen back on the first line with Claude Giroux and Wayne Simmons, whom, by the way, that top line has a combined 1 point. Jake will go back to the second line with Michael Raffel and Sam Gagner, and the Flyers are going to add Colin McDonald in from the Phantoms to replace the suspended Pierre-Edouard Bellemare.
Yeah, so that's where we are with the line changes, the goalie change. Let me ask you, Bri, for the most part, this season has been a success. No one really penciled it. Many people thought they'd be in play for the top pick in the draft, but you just mentioned the top line. I got into it with Coatsy yesterday about this. I asked him about Claude Giroux, and he got a little defensive about it. Again, I feel like we have this conversation right about this time each year about the captain. Your thoughts on, my question really was to him, is he the guy who is the best player on a team that wins a Stanley Cup, or is he a secondary star?
Well, again, there are very few players that you can say that have led their team to the Cup Finals all by themselves. Very rarely. There's a handful of greats. I will say this, and if you want to present it with stats, you could say it over the last 5 regular seasons, no player in the NHL has had more points than Claude Giroux. You can say that. You could also say that he has been rendered, disappearing act in this series. I will tell you this, though, that when you have a team that is lacking scoring depth, this is not making excuses for Giroux, But when you have a team that lacks scoring depth, it is easy for a very good opponent like the Capitals to just completely shut down that one line and put all of their energy into that. Now, listen, do great players have to rise above that occasion? Absolutely. Giroux needs to play better. But I think the C on the jersey, I think the salary that comes attached to his captaincy, I think is a lot overblown. I think Claude Giroux is one of the best players in the NHL. He's got terrific hands. He's a good goal scorer. He's a very, very good captain. I just think right now that, to answer your question in a roundabout way, I don't know if I don't think he's on the same plane as Alex Ovechkin or Patrick Kane right now, but he's certainly in the top 10 of NHL players. I'll take Claude Giroux on my team any day of the week.
All right, Brian Startare is with us, FlyerDelphia.com, part of SportsTalkPhilly.com, covering tonight's Flyers Capitals Game 4, which you can hear right here on 97.3 ESPN. The obvious, the series is 3-0, and there's not a lot of expectations here, even if they steal a game or whatever. The season has been successful. Before the game's over and we start previewing everything going ahead for, but this team is on the way up. But when you watch them with the Capitals, are they not? Yes, we understand they're on the way up, but are they far from being, going from an 8 seed to the middle of the pack of the Eastern Conference? Or did this series put some things in perspective of, whoa, they're not as close as maybe we thought?
Well, I think the series will tell you what they need, and that's more scoring depth and a faster defense. Whether or not they're going to need change in goal remains to be seen, but they definitely need to get faster on the blue line, and that will happen with Provorov coming up, perhaps Travis Sanheim, and the litany of defensive prospects they have coming up through their system. They do have Travis Konecny coming up on the offensive side of things. He could make the squad out there. And remember this, within not this year, but next year, they'll have some contracts off the book. They'll have some more cap flexibility. This is the thing that Ron Hextall had said. You may not like and you may not want to hear this, but it's probably going to take another 2 seasons. In the NHL, there's not a lot of difference between the 2 or 3 seed and the 8 seed. The Flyers have shown that to be true back in 2010 when they were a 7 seed and they played the 8 seed, the Canadians, in the Eastern Conference Finals. But again, when the Caps are on a different playing field, you could see these things. I would say that they need some scoring depth. They need to get their young guys in that lineup to start moving the puck, to have a faster defense. But I am completely in my sane mind when I think this is going to be an upper echelon team in 2 seasons.
I look, and I like what they're doing. The patience has been great, and I think, yes, you're right, Bri, that the fruits of the labor of the patience will pay off, and I think there's good things ahead. But you're right, this the team lacks the depth. You see Washington. Washington has been a team with a lot of playoff failures, even for their regular season success, but they added some nice veteran pieces that really has put this team over the top. But they also got a guy like Kuznetsov, a very young scoring center who has added to a team that has been a playoff failure in basically their entire existence.
Yeah, you look at the Caps. Obviously you got Ovechkin and Backstrom and Oshie up there. They've added Oshie in the offseason. But you mentioned Kuznetsov. But they bring in Justin Williams. These guys won a cup everywhere he's gone, except for Philadelphia. They have a shutdown line in Chimera and Mike Richards, a guy that now doesn't have to worry about the captain on his chest. He doesn't have to worry about playing shutdown defense. And, if you look at their defense, Carl Alsner was a top 7 pick in the NHL draft. Batty Niskanen played a lot of years with Pittsburgh. He has a lot of experience out there. John Carlson has been tremendous, especially on the power play. Dmitry Orlov, again, a very physical defender as well. And Braden Holtby, the goaltending. So there's not really a weakness in this Capitals team. This was probably the worst draw you could possibly have for the Flyers if they wanted to squeak in. I'm not much into saying, hey, wait till next year, but let's wait till next year.
Yeah, and you know what? You say that in the NHL because 8s have beaten 1s. It's way more frequent in hockey than it is in like the NBA. But This one here, you can see that this Capitals team is very good. They should be given credit. Brian Startare has more with the guys over at FlyerDelphia.com, part of SportsTalkPhilly.com. As the Flyers take on the Capitals tonight, you can hear the game. Coverage starts at 7 o'clock on 97.3. All right, B, we'll talk to you soon, pal.
All right, thanks, Mike. Take it easy. Appreciate it, pal.